Hello everyone, I am Glenn Moyes, and this is an artist's crash course on booklet printing in InDesign. If you want to use your home printer to create your own ashcan book, mini comic, sketchbook, or whatever, the pages need to be ordered so that when you fold and staple it together, everything will be in the right order. If in the past you ended up having to use Photoshop or Illustrator to organize all of this by hand, and you already owned InDesign, I'm sorry, but you wasted a lot of time doing that. But don't feel bad, because after watching this, you'll know that InDesign does all this for you automatically, and it is super easy to set up. So let's get started. The first thing we're going to do is create a new document. So you go to File, New Document. Now, because our booklet is going to be made out of letter-sized sheets of paper folded in half, our paper size is going to be letter size half. And facing pages, we want to make sure that's on. That means we're going to have spreads. For the number of pages, I'm going to make this 16, because each letter size sheet of paper is going to yield 4 pages, because we're doing front and back printing. So columns and margins, we can just leave that alone, since we're not going to be messing around with type that much, because that's a big topic. So for the interest of time, the only thing I'm going to show you is how to do automatic page numbering. And the way you do this is with the masters. So here we have our masters. We got master of none and then master A. And then you can see that by default, all of our pages are using master A. Seen by that little A icon right there. So I'm going to double click on this, and I'm going to start adding a text box. Let's reposition that. And I'm going to double click on this so I can add the text box, and I'm going to add a special character. It's under markers, current page number, represented by our little A right there. And I'm going to make that big so you can see it. I'm going to hold down Alt, click and drag to duplicate the object. Right, justify. Okay, so masters are like backgrounds. So this is going to appear on every single one of these pages. So if I go back, we got page number 1, page number 2, page 3, page 4. Hey, check that out. Here we have our automatic page numbering done for us. And that is awesome. The first page, our cover, we probably don't want to have a page number on there. So I can just click and drag this to assign it to the first page. Let's do that for the bottom. So those aren't going to use a master. Those are just going to be blank. All right. Next, we're going to add our artwork. There's 2 ways to do this. The boring way is to go to File and then go to Place. The cool way to do it is just pull up a folder and then just drag and drop your images on here. All right, that's a good way to start our sketchbook. I can just drag and drop this one here. There's some characters, some head studies. And you know what? I'm going to make this go fast. I'm going to select the remaining ones, drag and drop them. And InDesign is smart. It knows that we want to... And then here we have our little 7 here, which means we got 7 images to add and a little thumbnail so we know what we're adding. Just going to click it. It adds it. 6 more left. Click Add. Okay, these I probably want to put down at the bottom of the sketchbook. Click, click. Oh man, click, click. So easy. Click. All right, and now we're done. So in InDesign, all you're doing is just you're messing with type and you are adding images that you've made in either Photoshop or InDesign. You can't actually make art in InDesign. Well, I suppose you can add like lines and boxes, but nah, that's about it. Okay, so moving and transforming the artwork, use the black arrow tool. And if you're a noob, you're probably just going to click and drag these boxes here. And then you're going to be all like, oh, why is it just cropping the image? That's not cool. Well, the reason why is because you're moving the crop box. You're not actually moving the artwork. To move the artwork, click on the direct select tool. Shortcut for that is A. It's a little white arrow tool there. And now when you click on it, we got a brown box. That's letting us know that we're moving the actual image itself. Now, you're probably thinking, is there an easier way to do that? There is. Use the black arrow tool, hold down Control, then click and drag, and there we go. It is now moving both at the same time. Okay, do again, Control, click, and now I'm going to hold down Shift simultaneously so I can lock the aspect ratio. There we go. Let's do the same thing with this big one right here. Hold down Control, click and drag. Move that back, click and drag. Because you notice that these are constrained to just one spread. I can't yeah. All right. So we got that on there. Also, you'll notice that transparency does in fact work. So you'll probably want to think about that when you start preparing your sketches for your sketchbook. Is you might want to add a transparent little cutout around it so you don't have white boxes around everything. Okay. Scale this down. Okay. So I think this is just about ready. And I'm going to show you how to edit your artwork from InDesign. If you go to your links panel over here, if you click on a piece of artwork, you can see that it selects it over here as well. So let's say I'm going to select this one, and I want to edit it. Click on this little Edit Original button down here. It will load up Photoshop, bring up the file, and then I can go in here and get rid of the background or just kind of clean this up a little bit. And then if I save it, and then Alt-Tab back, you can see that our image has been fixed and it's been slightly cleaned up a little bit. In fact, I'm going to just do some scribbles and then save it so you can really see that it's, yep, it's working. Now, if it doesn't automatically update it in here, it will let you know that what you're seeing is actually different than what's saved on the hard drive by having a little yellow triangle with an exclamation mark. Then you just click on, you select it or select a whole bunch of files and then click on Reload Links. And then that will update it from here. You'll notice that these are pretty pixelated. I mean, this is not the resolution that I scanned these at. You can fix that by going to View, Screen Mode, or Display Performance, and then High Quality. And there you can see it cleaned it up. That's what it actually, that's how I scanned it as. So I'm just going to turn that back so I can have better performance. If you want to see what your book looks like without all these margins and boxes around your artwork, go to View, Screen Mode, and then Preview so you can see what it looks like. Okay. Now let's turn that back and let's go to printing our booklet. To do that, you go to File, Print, Booklet. So here if we go to our preview, you can see that it does our front and back covers. Then on the back side of that, page 2 and page 15. Yes, it is organizing it properly. One problem though is you can see that we're supposed to do this in landscape mode, not portrait. So we're going to go to our print settings and fix that. So you go to Setup, Orientation, do that. And you can see for printer, I set it to Adobe PDF. The reason why I like doing these, sometimes I'll be called Adobe Distiller. The reason why I like printing it to a PDF is because that way I don't have to load up InDesign and go through this whole dialogue thing every single time I want to print my book. Also, Acrobat has the ability to do odd and even number printing, which is important if you want to do front and back printing if your printer does not have a duplexer. So we'll click OK, check the preview, make sure everything's working beautifully. It is. So now we're going to go to print. And let's just call this booklet. It might take a while to save because there's a lot of images. All right, here it is. It's working. Excellent. Okay. So lastly, if you want to print this, go to print. Here's where your odd and even pages are put. In my case, just so you know, if you do have a printer which supports duplexing, which mine does, make sure that the staple side is on the correct side. On my case, it's on top because if I leave it as the default on left, my pages are going to be, the back sides are going to be upside down. So be aware of that. All right, and that ends this tutorial. So good luck and see you next time.